She's in love with my hot rod. It's my big V8 that really gets her off.
Special thanks to industry leaders, Parts Canada, and Drag Specialties. We support the sport. Metzler ME 880 Marathon. Dealey Harley-Davidson Canada.
Welcome to Biker TV, by bikers, for bikers. This week, Biker TV Tech Tips with Wally from GPRC, Canada's premier motorcycle training facility. Plus, we're checking out some sweet West Coast customs with our friend Jason at Suicidal Cycles. But first, we're going to show you some skin at Kreative Khaos Tattoo, not for the weak of heart.
As long as there's skin, it's pierceable. I believe my oldest lady I've had was, that I can remember was, I believe it was about 68. She came and got her belly pierced. She'd always wanted it done. Yeah, and 68 years old, and she got her belly button pierced, and she was just the happiest person. And I get a lot of them. I get, you know, oh, I wanted this for 10 years, and, you know, one thing I find really common is I've wanted it for 10 years, and my husband told me no. Well, he's gone, so now I can go.
My ex gonna get it done, so first.
Well, I do a variety of female genital piercings. I do some males. And what do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Why?
Well, some people get it for personal reasons, sexual reasons. It's some people get it for appearance. It's just really...
Appearance? Well, who would know?
Those are for the special ones. Yeah. Strippers. Well, I did do an apprenticeship within the studio. I did a lot of bookworks and then visuals, and then I started hands-on with my friends and regular clients, things like that. And then when they felt I was good enough to go, I've been going ever since. I always tell people, call your health department. They can tell you in which studios they do deal with. They can tell you, you know, we get random health inspections. They just show up and they do their health inspection. We've never failed one.
Piercing came about just by public demand. People would come in and being in the body modification industry, it kind of, the door is already open. So we had a lot of people approaching us, and we just followed it and got our education and technique and went with it from there.
No, I don't like piercing kids. They leave me in tears. They cry. Babies. But I do it again for the sterile purpose. I don't really enjoy. I'd rather see them get it done with a needle and know that it's completely sterile rather than opposed to a gun. Where that unit cannot probably be cleaned, so it's used on you, it's used on you, it's used on you, it's used on you. And, you know, yes, they have advanced it to have disposable cartridges and things like that, but again, it's still that hand, that hand, that hand. So I do pierce babies. I've done as young as, really young, too young. Just for my own peace of mind to know that their piercing is done right.
Piercing's been, it's been around again just as long, if not longer, as tattooing. So, you know, in the past 12 years, 10 to 12 years, it's really come into mainstream, right beside tattooing as a self-representation and a self-expression. just another avenue for people to become unique and self-expressive.
How many piercings do you have?
I don't even know anymore. I don't have any really much anymore, but I've had well over 50.
All of the above and outside the box too. Piercing has been used in suspension art, numerous body modifications, body art.
So it's a little different aftercare between the two. This is the one for your nose. Okay, so right here, just mix 1/4 teaspoon of sea salts with 1 cup distilled water and kind of do a soak. Absorb it into a cotton ball and just kind of hold it there. Do it about 2 to 3 times a day. Avoid makeup and facial cleanses in the area, and just be careful not to catch it on things, i.e. your towel, you go to give somebody a hug, putting on your shirt. Those are the most common. Do you wear glasses? No. Okay, so then you'll be set there. All right. Yeah, I think piercings are in, and I think they're here to stay. Just as is tattoos, I don't think this industry is really going anywhere. As you know, as the population's growing, so is the want for it. And I think the fact of how it's evolved over the years too, in the sense of safety and things like that, that it definitely has become a lot more acceptable, more of a desire for people.
After the break, Biker TV Tech Tips with Wally.
Performance, so you want to go fast. Task performance, fantastic.
Why pay more? Check us out. Royal Distributing, Canada's power sports leader. We have parts, accessories, and lots more for all makes of cruisers, V-twin and metric. Canada's largest selection of helmets and clothing. Shop our huge website, shop by phone, or visit any one of our 3 superstores. Why pay more? Check us out. Royal Distributing, Canada's power sports leader.
Choose one of our existing audio kits or design your own. Hogtunes, audio solutions for the great American cruiser. Closed captioning by Hogtunes, audio solutions for the great American cruiser.
Hi, welcome to Biker TV. Today's tech tip, I thought we'd talk about the lifeblood of your Harley-Davidson engine, the engine oil. There's a number of different oils to choose from. We'll have a look at how to make an educated decision on which one might be best for your motorcycle and what they do for your motorcycle. They've got a fairly large job to do. They have to lubricate your engine, they have to clean your engine. Believe it or not, they have to cool your engine. We do have a liquid-cooled engine. Even though we call it air-cooled, it does use oil for cooling. And it has to be able to flow at cool temperatures when we first start a motorcycle up. Back in the earlier days of motorcycling, it was quite common for a person to have either a straight 50 or a straight 60 in their motorcycle. And, you know, I guess for the older engines it worked just fine, but still it would have been a whole lot nicer when you start up your engine when it was cold to have a lighter oil in there, like maybe a 20 weight, and once you got riding and the temperature came up, to actually have a heavier weight oil in there. We can now do that. For a long time, we have 2050, 20W50 oil. It works as a 20 weight when you first start your bike up. We need a bit of a thinner oil in there to reach all the different areas of your motorcycle fast. And once you come up to a temperature, it works as a 50 weight. So you've got the best of both worlds with the 20W50. There's another classification that you'll find on the oil cans, and that's by the API. You have a S classification. That's for service. That would be a gas or a spark-fired engine. You have a C classification, which would be more for a diesel engine. They each have temperature ratings for their oil. So what do? You grab an oil that's 20W50, that's for an automobile, you put it in your motorcycle. What happens then? You're riding your bike on a hot day, and the oil breaks down at the temperature your bike is at. That oil made for a car is made for a liquid-cooled engine, which doesn't run near as hot as your air-cooled engine does. If you have to buy an oil and you can't get a motorcycle Harley-Davidson oil for your bike, what's recommended is you would buy a diesel classification oil or a C oil, 2050, put that in. As soon as you get someplace where you can change your oil, put in back genuine Harley-Davidson oil. All oils are not created the same. Every oil you buy has a specific additive package for that particular oil. The oil that I have here, the Harley-Davidson oil, has an additive package that's put together by the Harley-Davidson engineers. That package is for the oil to work at its best in that specific Harley-Davidson engine. It's not built for any other engines other than the Harley engine. Okay, we've talked a little bit about the mineral-based 20W50. Let's have a look at another alternative that you have. The Harley-Davidson Syn 3 synthetic oil, fully synthetic oil. It's stable at much higher temperatures. When you start your motorcycle on those cold days, you're going to have oil flow right now. And when you're riding in those blazing hot days, you're also going to have the superior protection that a full synthetic oil offers. It has some other benefits. It also works because of the additive package they put into it. It also works in your transmission and in your primary. So it's a kind of a one-stop deal. You don't have to worry about different lubricants for the different areas of your motorcycle. Okay, you old riders, you're wondering how possibly can one oil work in all three different areas? How can it work in my transmission? How can it work in my primary? And how can it work in my engine? Well, the additive package that is put in this oil by the Harley-Davidson engineers allows that to happen. And it will be superior to what you're putting in there now. Okay, we talked about some of the aspects of the synthetic oil, but let's set the record straight on one thing. The oil change interval with the synthetic oil is the same as it is with the mineral oil. It doesn't change. We talked about the mineral oil, we talked about the synthetic oil. We also have a synthetic blend. It offers the same protection that you would receive with the 360. It also has the benefits of the improved oil flow for cold starts, as the synthetic does, and also the high temperature protection that the synthetic does. Only in your engine, not your transmission and primary.
Stick around. After the break, some wicked West Coast customs at Suicidal Cycles in Surrey, BC. Choose one of our existing audio kits or design your own. PogTunes, audio solutions for the great American cruiser.
flow away and toss me to the weekend. I welcome all the grain. You're driven by the force. There is a risk, there is a shade. I'm building momentum and burst into flames.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to say about this bike other than when you build something for yourself and you don't let anybody else have input, things can get a little out of control. Just wanted to build something that showed off what I can do creatively, and this is sort of the style I like. You know, it's a little bit crazier than we normally like to go, but I wanted to build a bike where everything was custom. Even the rear wheel's a one-off build. Everything. Built the motor, built the transmission. It's all, you know, rebuilt from stock 80-inch Harley parts. Custom front end. I always liked the old Indian leaf spring front ends. I thought they looked cool, but they always seemed like to me they were built wrong. The old Indian leaf springs are built so that when you ride it and you hit the suspension, it's pulling down on the springs. So you're really only getting the use of 2 or 3 out of the 5 springs that are on those front ends. So I just decided to build something to fit this bike, and leaf spring thought it was cool. I hadn't done one yet. You know, I've done springers and girders, but I've never done a leaf spring, so we decided to go with this, and it rides nice. Anybody that's been beside me while riding, other than, you know, locking up the front brake and skipping the wheel off the ground, it actually rides and handles quite nice. The only thing that we didn't custom build on this bike was the brake calipers, which I wanted to do. It was just a time limit. But yeah, on this bike we've built my own levers, master cylinders integrated into the handlebars, my own reservoirs. The rear brakes, same thing. We call this one Attempted Suicide. It has a hand clutch and foot clutch just to make it easy to ride with the big fat tire. If you look at the rear wheel, it's completely custom one-off. It's got 2 Harley hubs that don't look modified, but they're pretty heavily modified inside, mounted back to back with 2 sets of spoke. As far as we can tell, it's the only one that's ever been done that way so far. The bike's called Suicide Messiah, which I'm sure that my mom just loves, but it's a name of a song from a band called Black Label Society, which is just my favorite guitar player in the world, so I picked my favorite song and named my favorite bike after it. I try very hard on any of the bikes to work with the customer and my own artistic flair as well to make sure pieces flow from the front to back. You take a bunch of parts out of a book and bolt them together. You can build a cool bike that way. You can build a really cool bike, but you don't get the artistic flow. It goes from one end to the other, like a lot of my bikes do. My friend Lyle owns this bike, or will within a week when it's finished. Again, another Sportster conversion, rolled in as probably the ugliest, most brattiest, worn out Sportster you've ever seen. And we turned it into this showpiece. Took the motor apart, stripped it down to the cases, split them, repolished everything, custom frame, custom tank, fenders, you name it. Once again, just I like to take bikes that started out life as, you know, kind of the ugly duckling of the group and turn them into this. It's full air ride, lifts up, drops down onto the frame, no kickstand.
Well, that's kind of how me and Jason knew we were going to click because, you know, originally it was supposed to just be a soft tail suspension kind of bike, and before he even knew I was into lowriders or custom trucks and stuff like that, he kind of, he goes, hey, what about doing air ride? What do you think about doing an air ride suspension? And I was like, man, I love air ride. Everything I have is air ride, so we had to go through and do that. So it's pretty cool. It's like full, you know, onboard air compressor.
Stay tuned. After the break, a damp ride for Progeria and more on Biker TV.
Performance, so you want to go fast. Khaos Performance. fantastic.
Why pay more? Check us out. Royal Distributing, Canada's power sports leader. We have parts, accessories, and lots more for all makes of cruisers, V-twin and metric. Canada's largest selection of helmets and clothing. Shop our huge website, shop by phone, or visit any one of our 3 superstores. Why pay more? Check us out. Royal Distributing, Canada's power sports leader.
Choose one of our existing audio kits or design your own. Tunes, audio solutions for the great American cruiser.
Artificial mind keeping me alive.
Today we are going to ride from Elmira to Kincardine, raising awareness for Progeria, which is a rapid fatal aging disease that affects children. We're waiting on all kinds of riders from all over Ontario, well, Southern Ontario, not Ontario, from Guelph, from Hamilton. There's a guy that came down from Kincardine. He's going to ride back with us. Once we get there, we're going to have a photo shoot, and then we're going to continue the evening with a benefit concert featuring West Memphis Suicide and Trace 9 from Cambridge.
Hi, my name's Dave White, going on the Progeria ride today from Elmira to Kincardine. And I guess if you want to know why Dave White's interested, I was married to a lady, and one of her children had Progeria, and she got me involved, and I guess I've been involved for a number of years, either at the reunions or raising money for the kids.
I have a little boy I was introduced to about 13 years ago. He's actually going to be 13 this August. He's starting grade 9 in September, and he has Progeria, and like I said, it's a fatal rapid aging disease. It affects their insides. They're mostly heart disease. Can you tell me a little bit about how you found out about the ride for Progeria today?
Just looking on the internet to find out where there was a ride for today. That's all I did.
And can you tell me a little bit about how long you've been riding? And
I've been riding for about 55 years now.
And where all have you gone?
Well, mostly just in a place where I live. I don't travel very. I've gone.
One of the things we used to do was pick the people up at the airport when they flew in. So my job was to meet Michaela's family one year, and when they got off the plane, she came busting across the airport because she saw me standing there with this big white cowboy hat, and she's going, "Dive, dive!" And then she turned around, she ran back to her folks, and she's going, "Mom, Mom, my hat, my hat!" So they rummaged around in their luggage, and they got out this little pink cowboy hat, and they stretched it all out, one of those little pink straw hats, and she put it on. Then she come back, and "Dave, Dave," and I get this big hug from her and stuff. And we went through the reunion that year with our hats, and some pictures were taken, and you know, Dave and Michaela with their hat, and she took one of the pictures, the two of us, and put the little construction paper border around it, and laminated it, little best buddies on it, and she passed away a year or two after that. And the next reunion that her mother came to, she brought the hat and she brought the picture and she sent it up to me. And that lives beside the white cowboy hat now in my house. And just one of those memories that you'll always keep with the kids. And
I've come too far and can't give in. This emptiness is gone.
are you what's known as a BC biker chick?
I try. Whenever we have time.
Right on. Cool.
Yeah, we try to ride whenever we can. Don't really have a lot of time to do it, but we'd like to go out of province.
Rob, tell us a little bit about your bike here. It's a good-looking ride.
Yeah, it's just a custom built by Fat Cat Langley there. It's got a hopped up 80, nothing too crazy. Air ride suspension and a little bit of customization. Obviously Springer front end. And yeah, I've had it for quite a while, 6, 7, 8 years, and we like to roll around on sunny days and have a good time.
Yeah, I've noticed out here the weather's kind of conducive of lots of riding.
Yeah, that's why we live here, right?
Exactly. Esmond, how do you like it?
I love riding. Since I moved here about, 13 years ago, I met people that rode, and I just love it. It's great.
Do they have show and shines around here and that?
Yeah, there's a big one downtown every day on Father's Day.
Yeah.
They close the downtown core, and you come out here with Dad and walk around, look at all the bikes.
Next week on Biker TV, drag racing action with the CMDRA, the Canadian Motorcycle Drag Racing Association in Mission, BC. Special thanks to Biker Coffee, made by bikers for bikers. The Motorcycle Ride for Dad, fighting prostate cancer Canada-wide. Royal Distributing. Check out the new store in Whitby, Ontario.
Well, baby, she's in love with a man.